This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Voter dissatisfaction with inflation and crime is helping Republican Senate candidates in key races. Susan Ferricchio reports a surge that Democrats enjoyed during the summer has now stalled, and polls show Republicans gaining ground in Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and Ohio. The Senate midterm map includes toss-up races in Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, according to the nonpartisan Cook Political Report. Republicans must win 3 of the 4 toss-up contests and hang on to all the seats they currently control to regain the majority in the Senate. Facing that, President Biden is keeping to a light campaign schedule this week featuring virtual party events and another trip back home to Delaware. Dave Boyer reports Biden took a motorcade Monday to the Democratic National Committee's campaign center in Arlington, Virginia, to rally party workers. His schedule this week calls for him to attend what the White House is calling virtual political receptions for Democratic House members from Nevada and for House Democrat Cynthia Axne of Iowa and Matt Cartwright of Pennsylvania. He'll fly home to Wilmington on Tuesday night and remain there for the weekend, save for a brief trip to nearby Philadelphia to attend a Democratic Party reception on Friday. A report card from the National Assessment of Educational Progress finds that students across the country saw marked drops in reading and math scores following the pandemic. Tom Howe reports drops in math scores were particularly dramatic and amounted to the biggest decline since the group started taking a sample of scores from 4th and 8th graders in 1990. Only 26% of 8th graders were considered proficient in math in 2022, down from 34% in pre-pandemic 2019, the most recent year the report card was issued. 4th graders in more than 40 states also saw their math scores decline. Only 36% nationwide were considered proficient, down from 41%. Reading scores are also down, with only a third of 4th graders marked proficient, continuing a slide that began before the coronavirus hit. For 8th graders, only 31% of them received proficient scores in reading, the lowest number since 1998. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of news, commentary, and sports podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The U.S. and its European allies have mounted a preemptive full-court press to debunk Russian claims about a looming dirty bomb attack by Ukrainian troops on Ukrainian soil. Leaders at the State Department and Pentagon, along with defense officials and diplomats across Europe, loudly shot down the idea, Ben Wolfgang reports. It was first floated by Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu over the weekend. Shoigu was purportedly so alarmed at the prospect he held 2 phone calls in 2 days with U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin after not having conferred with him since the spring. Russia didn't produce any evidence backing up its claims, and U.S. officials said it's an instance of blatant disinformation from the Kremlin on par with the same Russian denials earlier this year that they were planning to invade Ukraine. A new report by the State Department's Inspector General says that as of May, 325,000 unread email messages were sitting in the main mailbox of the government program designed to rescue Afghans who assisted the U.S. war effort. Stephen Dinan reports the Inspector General has twice cited the email backlog numbers, first in a September report, and now in a broad review of the Special Immigrant Visa Program over the last 14 months. Some of those unread messages dated to August 2021, before the last troops were withdrawn from Afghanistan. The State Department said it has figured out a technological solution to work through the backlog and is making headway. As of the end of August, less than half of those messages, 140,175 from potential applicants, had not been read. And finally, a network of right-wing groups has recruited thousands of poll workers and watchers across the country to staff precincts for the midterms. Dave Boyer reports it includes Tea Party Patriots Action, which is focused on states including Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, each political party with a nominated candidate on the ballot may appoint 3 poll watchers for each election district. Only 1 poll watcher may be present in the polling place at one time for each party. Poll watchers can keep a list of voters, inspect a voting checklist, make good faith challenges to a voter's identity or eligibility, and lodge challenges with the judge of elections. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. The Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.